Welcome to Family Gamer TV. Now, if you track with the channel, you will know about the game Abzu. But we're excited today to have Matt Nava, Creative Director at Giant Squid, and for the game to tell us about it. So Matt, the game is about to launch, so it's getting pretty exciting.
Yes, we're very excited to finally see this game we've been working on for about 3 years get into the hands of players. So, very cool.
And we spoke about a year ago, and I remember being impressed by the aesthetic of the game, the sort of tranquil underwater feel. But what I've seen since then is there's much more going on in the game than just sort of that exploration.
Yeah, what we are really excited about with Abzu is that it takes you on this, what we like to call an emotional narrative arc. It's a story that's told purely through the sound and visuals of the game. There's no dialogue, but hopefully it will kind of pull at your heartstrings and take you to some very surprising places as you go deeper into the ocean.
And so it's a game that is about sort of diving, or it's inspired by creating a diving experience. Is it going to appeal to people who haven't been diving themselves?
Yeah, I think what's really cool about diving for me is that it's this exploration of a very foreign, surreal world that is right there on our doorstep, and not many people have actually seen. And I think that kind of mystery and surrealism of the ocean, I think everyone has a connection to that. And so I think that's kind of what draws people in to Abzu. And we've seen lots of people play who've never, gone scuba diving, and they have a connection with the game, which is a fantastic thing for us to see as developers. So yeah, I think it'll be really cool.
And is that sort of visual aesthetic that you can create, is that important? Do you think we needed this sort of horsepower before you could create something this authentic?
Oh, definitely, for sure. This kind of game, is the kind of game that I've always been thinking about making, but you could never really have the density to convey an ocean scene, really, without doing a lot of fake kind of tricks and stuff. What we've been really happy about is that we were able to really give these fish and environments just a ton of density and a lot of detail. Every fish is independently thinking being that's aware of the environment, the player, and other fish. It's trying to eat, it's trying to escape from predators, and there's thousands of them. There's 10,000 fish in some areas, as well as kelp forests that are swaying and reacting to you as well. It's crazy just the density of detail that we're able to do in the game. And what's really crazy is that people see it and they see, oh, it's this kind of low polygon art style, it's a low polygon game. But no, it has a ton of vertices because there's just so many of everything.
So creating a game like this, is there a greater risk in going for maybe more of a sort of a mainstream audience rather than that hardcore game, or something with more emotions, more of a narrative? Is there a business risk in taking that route?
I think there is, and what we found was that the size of our development team, we only have 10 people working on this game, and our scope of our project is bigger than a lot of indie games that are out there, and smaller than most AAA games. So it's kind of we're on this boundary line of in terms of scope versus team size, budget, and all that sort of thing. So it's definitely kind of a risk. But whenever you're making something new and innovative and trying to do, something that's artistic, it's always going to be a risk because you're doing something that's new.
And a part of that, getting that message out, is obviously sort of YouTube and Let's Play broadcasters. Is that something you welcome for Abzu? What's the relationship like between sort of an indie developer and Let's Play creators?
Yeah, it's really cool. I think the YouTuber kind of community, they have a really broad reach, and they introduce people to a lot of interesting content. And the way that we've been doing it with YouTubers is we've asked them to play through just the first kind of areas of the game to save some of the secrets until the game's out.
In terms of sort of the sort of depth of meaning in the game, and it comes from from your love of diving, I understand. Could you maybe talk a bit about how your experience of diving in the real world has influenced the game, but not just how it looks, but potentially the narrative and maybe the emotional quality of it?
Oh yeah, yeah, it definitely. So diving, is this experience that really is different from what you normally are doing. It's taking you out of your uh, kind of realm of comfort, and you're going into this foreign world. It's like going to an alien planet. It's these life forms that you see are living in a completely different way, and yet you have a connection with them because you can see how they're related to you. You can see how that evolution could take place, and you can feel that. I think everyone has a sense of connection to the ocean in that way. It's the place where things are born. Um, and so going into the water is this very metaphorical kind of journey back to the beginning. And I think that that's an idea that I really liked in creating the narrative of Abzu. And we wanted the game to have this kind of mythic, epic quality that you feel when you're in the ocean. One of the really cool things that I saw diving was a sea lion underwater. And it was this amazing experience seeing this creature that is far more powerful than you in this environment. He's going around like a rocket, just huge animal, 7 feet long probably, but extremely playful and joyous. And he came right up, put his nose on my mask, was barking underwater because somehow sea lions can do that. It's crazy. And it was just this amazing moment of connection. And having a connection like that across worlds, is this really fascinating experience. And so all these years later, that was actually in high school when I had that dive. I think that looking back, it was a very kind of influential moment, and definitely was an inspiration for Abzu and the kind of experience that we wanted to portray.
Has the experience of creating a game and looking at this intricate detail of modelling it, has that affected how you see and how you experience diving?
Oh yeah, it's really interesting because when you start to make a game about these fish, you have to model them, you have to know what they do, you have to research, and we spent a lot of time just figuring out how fish work and what they do, and the details of what makes a fish. And suddenly we go to the aquarium and we're looking at how these creatures work, and we have a new kind of perspective. You start to realize, fish turn left and right way more than they pitch up and down because their spine bends sideways, easier than it does like vertically. Mm-hmm. And when they want to go up, they do like spirals and stuff to go up, or they elevate with a swim bladder that inflates rather than turning, and like we never knew that until we tried to model fish motion and realized that like it wasn't working when they were going straight up and down. And we tried to figure out, how do fish really do it? And now, we kind of have a lot of little facts like that we would never have known if we were just, experiencing the world without that kind of experience of making that representation of the world. So, it's really fascinating making a game. You really learn a lot about the environments that you're producing. So, really fun.
Do you look at, as you were talking about that, I was thinking about Finding Dory. I was wondering how well they did at their modelling of fish. Do you want to say anything about that?
Oh man, they're incredible. I mean, they're obviously these cartoon stylizations of fish, but to do that kind of caricature, you have to understand what makes that fish a fish. Those guys really know their stuff, and it's fantastic to see what they're doing. That octopus character from the new movie is pretty brilliant.
Yeah, cool. So, if people watching want to get hold of Abzu, could we just remind them what formats it's on and what's the best way for them to get it?
Sure. So Abzu is on the PlayStation 4 and on Steam. It's going to be, I think, $19.99 on the PlayStation. I think it's going to be the same on Steam.
And on Steam, is that PC and Mac?
It's on the PC only right now. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. Well, I look forward to playing it through. I think I'll be going for the PS4 version, and we'll be playing it through. I'll probably be playing it with my kids. It seems like a sort of game would be nice to share. So I'm looking forward to
fantastic.
Getting
That'd be great. Actually, our friend, a friend of one of our developers was playing with their children, and they had a 4-year-old and an 8-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and they all had a blast. They just wanted to ride all the fish, apparently. So,
Nice. And I imagine it's the sort of thing which could easily connect a child with diving and open that door to it being a possibility. I mean, if you were talking to someone who's played Abzu and says, actually, I'd like to go for a dive, what would your advice be?
oh man, do it. Just get out there and have fun. I mean, diving is an experience that will change you forever. That's the greatest thing I did.
And is it just about finding a sort of a dive school and instructor, or is it?
Yeah, you just take a class. It's super easy. You just take a very simple class, get in a pool, test out the equipment, and then you go on a dive. It takes a couple weeks. You get there.
Yeah, I like that. I like the idea as a parent. It feels like that would be a very good thing for my kids' confidence.
And you can do it when you're kids. They have all the dive gear for kids, and it's really simple for children. They have no fear, so they get into it real quick.
Oh, great. Well, I could talk about this all day, but we better draw a line under it. But thanks for your time today. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you.